Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, lawmg.com. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching in Indiana and around the world. education.indiana.edu. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. The Radio and TV News Endowment, a fund established by listeners and viewers to sustain reporting of Indiana news. More information at indianapublicmedia.org/support. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. Construction crews are working around the clock to complete Section 5 of I-69, which is nearly 2 years behind schedule.
We will finish this in August of this year. Our executive office laughingly says August 32nd.
We'll explain how the state plans to make sure the same delays that plague this project won't happen with the final leg of the interstate. Legislators say they'll revisit Indiana's criminal code in the wake of the Noblesville West Middle School shooting. Ahead, the latest on the investigation and one victim's long road to recovery. And getting a driver's license on your 16th birthday used to be a common milestone, but that's changing.
We know that, at least in many years past, teen driver interest and teen driver presence has been on the decline.
Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. As the state gets closer to completing the section of Interstate 69 between Bloomington and Martinsville, it says it's learned valuable lessons that will help with building the final section of the road. As Barbara Brosier reports, the Indiana Department of Transportation says that it won't let the delays and financial problems that plagued Section 5 happen again.
Overnight paving on Section 5 of I-69 started this week as the state works to complete the 21-mile stretch of interstate. It's been a long time coming. The project was supposed to wrap up in October of 2016. But the state hired a private contractor to build, finance, and maintain the interstate, and the agreement fell through. The state took the project over last year after I-69 development partners experienced significant delays and financial problems. Construction is now supposed to be done by the end of August.
The objective was to get the main line free and clear of all obstacles so it'll be safe to travel at speeds. We may be planting trees and seeding and finishing up some fencing and things off of the main line.
The state acknowledges there are lessons to be learned from the debacle with Section 5, and project leaders plan to apply them as they get ready to start work on the final leg of I-69. The 26 miles between Martinsville and Indianapolis will be completed in segments. The Indiana Department of Transportation does plan to use a public-private partnership for the final portion in Marion County.
The fifth segment in Marion County most likely will not be done as a traditional. It will probably be done as some type of innovative delivery, most likely what we call a design bid best value.
But the state insists that arrangement will be different from the public-private partnership used with Section 5.
They really only have control of the design build part of it, and the state has a lot more hands-on in making sure the risks are managed as the state wants to, as opposed to how the developer wants to. So they're similar but not the same.
This is funded, so there's not going to be the finance or the operation and maintenance long-term and those kinds of complicated contractual things that came into the contracts with Section 5.
While the state has committed to funding the nearly $1.6 billion project through its 5- and 20-year plans, it's unclear exactly where the money will come from. Construction on Section 6 is scheduled to begin in Martinsville by the end of 2019. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brosier.
Indiana's Medicaid expansion, known as the Healthy Indiana Plan 2.0, is often referred to as a national model as Republicans try to scale back the Affordable Care Act. Now, new research is revealing more about the actual impact it is having in Indiana. Seth Friedman is one of the authors of the analysis and joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So can we start by just explaining a little bit about what makes Indiana's Medicaid expansion so unique?
Sure. So Indiana's expanded Medicaid as a part of the Affordable Care Act about 1 year late in 2015, and with some unique characteristics. In particular, it requires enrollees to pay a small amount of money into an account that acts sort of like a health savings account. That money, along with some money input from the state, is used to pay for the first little bit of health care that they consume during the year. And then if they have money left over, they can roll it over to the next year.
And this all happened, what, about 2 years, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah,
HIP
in 2015 it began.
And so now it's been a little bit of time. What kind of impact has it had here in Indiana?
So our research is specifically looking at how it impacted insurance coverage. Did people actually enroll in new coverage? And it might have a smaller impact than what's happened in other states, because if Hoosiers don't make these payments, they get less generous coverage, or they can, depending on their income, actually be removed from the program for up to 6 months. And so we were interested to see how the effect on coverage compared to other states that implemented more traditional Medicaid expansions. And what we found was that actually Indiana's coverage increase was not too far out of line with what happened in other states with more traditional expansions. It did lag a little bit behind some of its neighbors like Illinois or Ohio, but overall there were many states that actually had smaller increases than Indiana had.
Is there any data, though, how this has really impacted Hoosier residents, though?
So the first thing that we've studied so far is just, do they have Medicaid insurance?
Okay.
What we're really interested in, and what we really need to follow up on, is how is this impacting their ability to actually obtain health care, how it's affecting their health, their financial well-being, and their other parts of their lives. So that's for future research that we're interested in continuing with.
And we hear that, Trump administration trying to do away with parts of the ACA. Could they look to Indiana as being a national model?
It is certainly something that states around the country are looking at, and other states that are changing their Medicaid programs, or states that have not expanded that are trying to expand, are looking to certain components of what Indiana has done and copying them. Now, one thing that Indiana has done more recently that we haven't been able to study and that other states are doing is work requirements. That's also something new that we are yet to really know what the effect will be.
So much to get to. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now for headlines, we go over to Alex Eady, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. The 13-year-old boy accused of shooting a classmate and teacher at Noblesville West Middle School will appear in court Monday. His case will remain in the juvenile system because no one died, but state lawmakers plan to revisit the laws surrounding charging juveniles as adults. House Speaker Brian Bosma says he thinks it's important for legislators to consider whether changes to the state's criminal code are appropriate. And the family of the 13-year-old student injured in that shooting says she will remain in the hospital indefinitely after being shot 7 times. Ella Whistler's family says she sustained several life-threatening injuries, including a broken jaw, a severed vertebral vein, and significant nerve damage. They say she faces a long road to recovery, and she will remain at the Riley Children's Hospital for the foreseeable future. Teacher Jason Seaman was also shot 3 times before he tackled and disarmed the student. A new study says an Indiana firearm seizure law led to fewer suicides in the state during its first decade on the books. Indiana's so-called red flag law went into effect in 2005. It allows police to seize a firearm from the person if they determine that person is a threat to themselves or to others. A study published on Psychiatry Online says Indiana's red flag law correlates with a 7.5% decrease in firearm suicides statewide. Emergency response officials say Indiana is a leader when it comes to text to 911 technology. All of Indiana's dispatch centers use the tool and receive somewhere between 500 and 600 texts a day. But as Lindsay Wright reports, perhaps the most useful aspect is that dispatchers can be the ones to initiate text conversations.
Hello, 911.
Monroe County Dispatch started accepting text to 911 calls just 2 years ago. It can be useful in several situations, like when an intruder is trying to enter your home or in hostage situations.
We've had people text us if they were involved in a domestic situation, even when they're driving down the road.
You simply text information to 911, they receive it, and respond. Schimmer says last year, the Monroe County Dispatch Center received about 160 texts. But he says dispatchers also have the ability to initiate them. About 80% of 911 calls come from cell phones today, and some of those calls get dropped or disconnected.
While a lot of times they come back and they go, oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally dialed, there have been instances where they called us requesting help, but the person that they were having problems with caught them on the phone and they weren't able to talk, and this allows us to communicate back and forth with them.
Indiana is the only state where 911 operators can do that. Last year in Monroe County, they initiated 5,300 outgoing texts. Schimmer says it shows how important it is to keep up with technology, and they continue to improve it.
A lot of the technology that we're moving forward with is based off that cellular technology and trying to increase the reliability of being able to locate somebody when they're communicating with a cell phone.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Lindsay Wright.
The former organist at a Brown County church will have to serve 300 hours of community service for vandalizing the building following the 2016 presidential election. George Nathan Stang admitted to painting "Hail Trump" anti-gay slurs and a swastika on St. David's Episcopal Church. He told investigators he was trying to mobilize a movement after being disappointed in the outcome of the election. Several parishioners testified during his sentencing this week, asking the judge not to give Stang jail time.
I'm sure that we're going to start a dialogue with Nathan as to reconciliation and to what forms that might take.
Stang will also be on probation for more than a year as part of his sentence. Industries across the nation are in desperate need of skilled workers. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development estimates there will be more than 1 million jobs to fill in the next 6 years. The heating and cooling business is no exception to the shortage, and the unusually hot temperatures this spring are only exacerbating the problem.
We went from basically winter to summertime. We didn't have any medium temperatures where we could, get a lot of our maintenance finished and get people ready to go for the hot.
Keller says her employees are working long hours and customers are sometimes waiting up to 3 weeks for maintenance service. Governor Eric Holcomb has made workforce development one of his top priorities. And droves of tourists visit Brown County every year to take in the community's historic charm. As Barbara Brozier reports, efforts are underway to ensure some of the structures that make this destination a unique place that stick around for generations to come.
When you take a trip to Nashville, Indiana, you're transported back in time.
It's what makes Brown County Brown County. We could go back 100 years, 150 years, 170 years to the beginning, and we have a rich, vibrant culture here.
But while Nashville's maintained its image as the town reminiscent of a different era, local ordinances protecting historic structures here are limited.
Several years ago, passed an ordinance which says that if you want to tear down a historic structure, that you had to wait 90 days. That would give people time to maybe gather resources and purchase the same property and just preserve it.
The town council is considering adding more regulations for historic structures and recently formed a committee to study the issue. Many of the people here worry without additional rules, there's nothing to prevent a developer from coming in and tearing down important buildings.
Looking at downtown Bloomington is an example of what could happen.
There's no timeline for the committee to come up with recommendations, but there is a sense of urgency to the project. Many believe the town's livelihood depends on preservation.
Our only industry is tourism, and when people come here, they want to look at what was, and if we get rid of what was, all we have is now, and that's not what they're after. They can go to anywhere for that.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brozier.
Joe, that's definitely special. Brown County is such a beautiful city as well. So
It is. Thank
that's
you very
great.
much,
Yeah.
Alex. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. An increasing number of teens are putting the brakes on what's been considered a rite of passage. And artists are coming together in honor of Southern Indiana's most celebrated stone. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
$10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18.5.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations.
I can't believe this.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The city of Bloomington says it's still working on the details of a proposal that would temporarily halt any new drug treatment centers from opening in town. As Barbara Brozier reports, some worry the moratorium would only make the local opioid crisis worse.
Several new drug treatment centers have opened in Bloomington over the past couple of years, and city leaders say they weren't prepared for the new business model that emerged as a result of the opioid crisis. They want to temporarily stop any new treatment centers from opening in the city so they can evaluate whether further planning or zoning regulations are needed.
Let's look at this going forward, how it's going to affect our community, how we can best, as a government, make sure that this happens in a way that's positive for the whole community.
It's an issue the city is currently grappling with as it challenges the zoning designation of a facility that opened here last year. The Indiana Center for Recovery offers treatment and transitional housing for those in recovery. The city claims its current zoning designation isn't in line with how the properties are being used. While the city says the proposed moratorium won't impact treatment centers that are already open and in line with city code, the Indiana Center for Recovery feels the idea is misguided.
I'm choosing to be patient and listen to the suggestions provided by the city of Bloomington, but also very, very anxious to get our message out there about who we are as opposed to who we have been made out to be in the community.
Executive Director of the Indiana Recovery Alliance, Chris Abert, says the city should do something to protect residents from predatory treatment centers, but that a broad moratorium isn't the answer. He says there are already issues with access to treatment for those who want it, and this will only exacerbate the problem.
The idea of limiting access to those while you investigate and hire consultants or run this through the city council is not indicative that they understand the scope of the problem, right? And the day-to-day costs that this is having on people's lives.
The city says it's well aware of the urgency of the drug problem here, which is why leaders say they're taking action.
We want them to get the treatment that they need when they need it and as close to home as possible, but we want it to be in a way that makes sense for the whole community.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brozier.
The proposal will go before the Plan Commission and then City Council for approval, but it's unclear how soon that could happen. Over the last couple decades, research shows the number of teens hitting the road to drive is down significantly. There's not much data on teen driving, so it's difficult to know exactly what's to blame for the dip in teens getting their licenses. But as Lindsay Wright reports, there is some evidence to show that more recently the trend could be reversing.
Jalen Mann is a junior at Indiana University. He's your average college student, except when it comes to one aspect of his life. He doesn't have a driver's license.
I do have a learner's permit,
but that's only because I needed a form of ID for my 21st birthday.
Oh, okay. Mann prefers walking. He says, unlike his friends, he just never took an interest in driving, and he still gets picked on for it.
Didn't you feel bad, like asking them all the time, hey, can you pick me up? Hey, can I get a ride? Oh, I want to go hang out with you guys, but you need to come pick me up.
They'll just kind of look at me for a second and be like, you don't even have a license. I don't know what you're talking. Like, you shouldn't be talking or contributing to the conversation.
Although it sounds unusual, Mann isn't alone in skipping out on the typical 16-year-old's dream. According to a study published in the journal Child Development, in the late 1970s, 88% of high school seniors had a driver's license. That's dropped to about 73% during the past several years. The reason for the significant drop in adolescents driving isn't exactly clear. But Greg Sider with the Hoosier Motor Club says it seems the economy plays a big role in teens getting their license.
The finances involved in not only obtaining a license, but then in driving a vehicle. Those numbers in and of themselves were what we believe were pulling kids away from wanting to get their license.
Sider says the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety found the biggest reason for teens holding off on getting their license is that they don't have a car.
There's obviously a direct connection in the ability of teenagers being able to find jobs or to have some sort of income, and connecting that then to their willingness and eagerness to obtain a driver's license.
Yep, go ahead. All right, here's your key. Put it in the ignition, go ahead and start it up, but let's not do anything else yet.
Bernard Sissel is a teacher at Southport High School, but he's also been teaching driver education for the last 20 years. He says he loves working with the teens.
Driver education is one of those things, if they're taking driver ed, they're certainly interested in the subject material and they're wanting to learn.
Sissel says there are a number of reasons teens put off this rite of passage.
It could be because, there's not a need in the family. There may, mom drives, dad drives, they got an older brother, sister that drives, and maybe they just don't have the interest to want to learn.
But he says not only is driver education expensive, costing at least a few $100s, it's not as accessible as it used to be.
Back years ago, all the high schools had their own driver education program, and it was typically the physical education department staff that would go out and teach the kids as a regular part of the school day.
That's not the case anymore. And Sissel says that makes it more challenging for teens. But Sider says recent car accident data shows a possible uptick in the number of teens getting their licenses.
Because there are more teenagers being involved in accidents on the roadway, we can take from that there are more teenagers driving. So that's a variable right there.
While that's an anecdotal example of how the trend might be changing, it's still unclear if that's what's really happening. And still, there are many people like Mann who years after they could get their driver's license simply have no desire.
I don't have to worry about crashing it, or paying for a new one, or just all the hassle that comes with owning a car.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Lindsay Wright.
And southern Indiana is known for its abundance of limestone. It's not only a major industry here, but also a celebrated part of the culture. Now, June, in fact, is known as Indiana Limestone Month. And as Sophia Salaby reports, a group of amateur and professional carvers come together every year to celebrate the state's famous stone.
In a small field outside Babbage Stone Company in Ellettsville, artists are working on limestone sculptures, both big and small. They're here for the Indiana Limestone Symposium. It's a 3-week-long workshop for those interested in learning to hand carve or use power tools to create pieces. Amy Breyer helped found the symposium 22 years ago after being inspired by European symposiums. She says education is a big part of the workshop for carvers of all levels.
We have people from never picked up a hammer before in their life to professional carvers.
Many participants are local, but others come from out of state to work on projects. Calvin Babbage is from Toledo, Ohio, and has come to the symposium every year since 2004. This year, he's working on a detailed sculpture of an apartment building. He says he didn't have a lot of experience with limestone when he first came to the symposium, but he's progressed exponentially since then.
I've learned so much here, both from the instructors and from watching other people and learning techniques and just observing. And it's really furthered my art.
Breyer says Indiana limestone is not only a material she loves to work with, but an important part of our nation's history, and that's why it's special.
It's the fabric of many, many American monuments, important buildings, state houses. It's our American stone.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sophia Salaby.
The symposium continues through June 23rd. People can participate in the symposium for just 1 week or the entire month. And that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, lawmg.com. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching in Indiana and around the world. education.indiana.edu. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. The Radio and TV News Endowment, a fund established by listeners and viewers to sustain reporting of Indiana news. More information at indianapublicmedia.org/support. And by WTIU members. Thank you.